Okay, so if you're having a little bit of trouble singing along with the song, you can't quite find that note, or it's just not quite sounding right. It doesn't feel right in your throat or in your face or as you're singing. It just doesn't match up. A lot of times it can be because the key doesn't really suit your voice. And really what I mean by that is, let's say you're trying to sing, but it's, the artist singing the song, their voice is really deep, and your voice is a little bit higher. So it's hard to sort of match that up. So I'll show you what I mean. Let's say I'm playing my chord progression here. G, D, E minor, C, and I have to sing kind of low and it doesn't sound good. So what I want to do is make it so I can sing a little bit higher, closer to my vocal range without having to learn a whole bunch of new chords. And the trick to do that is use something called a capo, which is basically just like a little clamp for our guitar. You can order these guys online. They're probably anywhere between 10 and 15 bucks, but I like these kind of squeezy clamp ones. So you squeeze it, pick a fret. I'm going to pick the 3rd fret, just kind of like arbitrarily, randomly pick a 3rd fret, clamp it down. And now what I've done is I've shortened the length of my guitar, shortened the neck of my guitar. So we're going to pretend this part up here doesn't even exist. And now, let's say if I want to play a G chord, now that 1, 2, 3, this is going to be our 3rd fret. So I do my G chord. So it sounds a little bit different without the capo. With the capo. Right? So now I'm going to play my chord progression. Minor C, G, D, E minor C, G, D, E minor C. That is better for my voice. So I've raised, or I changed the key, which allows me to raise up my voice a little bit. And you could go even further. I mean, you can go way down here. So I'm still playing the same chord shapes with my fingers, still playing a G chord, D minor C, but it sounds a lot different. So you can play around with it. Sometimes when you put your capo way down here, it's not going to sound quite right. So you can mess with that a little bit, but play around if you're having trouble. The other thing that you can do, we talked about using that transpose tool that exists on a lot of guitar websites. So you can transpose or change the key of the song to use chords that sort of fit better with your voice. And a lot of it, honestly, is just going to be trial and error. Sometimes you'll find you can sing really well in the key of G for one song, but then for another song in the key of G, it just doesn't work. And that's fine. Just kind of play around with different chords or different keys. Use that capo if it helps. You can also use that transpose key in conjunction with the capo to really sort of change things up. And that'll give you, so many more keys and chords to choose from. It's a little more advanced at, the point where you're actually transposing songs, especially if you're doing that on your own. So if all else fails and you can't quite match the key, maybe go back and pick a song that matches your voice a little bit better. And a good way to do that is just as you're listening to new songs you may want to learn, listen to the artist's voice and see if it matches up with your voice. And if that's the case, try doing that song. So that's another way to do it. Again, it takes a little bit of trial and error, but it can be super, super helpful. So that's the tool that I like to use, and that's called a capo. Okay, I hope that's helpful. See you in the next video.